All right, fellas, let's start this episode with a question. If you had to pick, which would you rather choose, archers or skirmishers? Well, in this miniseries, we'll try and sort this age-old question out. All right, fellas, welcome back again to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment, and we'll start with this episode with a question, and that is, which is better, archery or javelins? Right, in the lead up to my all javelin series this fall and winter, I thought it'd be fun to have another little side series here. So you can see Zuvan has got his bow on. We are basically going to run a series of battles that are identical battles with one major difference. In one of the battles, we will emphasize he's got two bows on for some reason. That must be, I fucked that one up. We'll have to replace that. In one of these two battles, in other words, we'll fight the same battle twice, we will feature warriors with javelins, and the next one we will feature warriors with bows, right? We will have companions wield bows, and we will have companions wield javelins. Now, our army will also be reflectant of that, right? We're not going to be completely all bow or completely all javelin, so it's going to be a somewhat normal army, just heavy on one of those two sides. Now, I've picked out the top 12 or 13 companions I have in my campaign that have a modicum of both skills. I guess you could actually say that they're elite in both skills, right? You can see this guy's got 319 bow, 303 throwing. Now, we have some companions that don't have that strong a skill in both. We've got some companions like this. Her throwing's only 269, which I'm sure you guys are like, only? Jesus. Now, we do have some companions with even lower skill. Here's a good example, 165 throwing. So clearly, she's going to be a better archer than a javelin thrower. But we also have some javelin-only throwers in our army. Or more accurately, they're much better at throwing javelins than shooting a bow. Now, if you look at our army for this first challenge, with the exception of this fella, Cole, I think I just added him late to the army. Everybody else has a bow and quivers. Commensurately, we are going to run around with an army that is heavier in bow and heavier in javelins. And you're probably wondering, well, how the fuck are you going to do that? In addition to my main army of 285 guys, I have two companions with me. You can see she's got 199 ranged units. The other one has all infantry and cavalry. In fact, they're all infantry and javelry, as I like to say. I'll give you a closer look here. You can see she's got very strong archers, right? They both have very strong troops, but she's all archers, and the other companion is all javelins. So you can kind of get an idea what we're doing here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to simply disband one of these parties before the battle starts, right? So this example, we're going to be doing an archery heavy army. You can see my army's a nice mix. It's pretty balanced, actually. And then we're going to disband the javelin companion for this battle, right? So we'll have all these troops here. You can see there's some lower level troops at the bottom, but it's a pretty strong army. And of course, upgrades will make it stronger. This army will go into this first of these two. Basically, these are always going to be two battles. We're going to fight the identical battle without all these javelin units, right? In fact, you can almost call her army a wildling army. And both companions, by the way, for those wondering, have high medicine skill, right? These are high-level companion leading armies of mine. So there's not like a huge disadvantage for one or the other. Of course, I don't care which side wins here. I just want to see how this turns out. It's going to be interesting to see how an army that's more heavily favored in javelins does. And this is a powerful Aserai force. You can see 77 Ferris, Palace Guards, and whatnot. What army does better? In other words, this is an experiment. Does an army that favors archery do better than an army that favors javelins? Now, of course, we'll fight different battles in this series. We'll fight a variety. That way it sort of makes it for a fair scientific experiment. But it's going to be really interesting. And of course, all along the way, we'll do some fucking swearing, a little bit of profanity. I might reference history. And of course, we're going to do tactics. So it is going to take me a few seconds here to get my bearings. But once I get going on this series, I don't think it'll take a lot of work before and after the battles to sort of sort things out. They are going to get kind of mixed up in between the battles, and that's just inevitable. You see, this is supposed to be infantry, and there's a bunch of there's a bunch of crossbow in there. Now, of course, when you run an all-archery army like this, not an all-archer army, but a mostly archer army, you do have to kind of look over your units because they tend to get mixed, right? The system gets confused when 3/4 of your troops are archers, and you may have infantry divisions where what it does is it mixes them. I mean, even though this is Zuvan's division and it's supposed to be skirmishers, I see archers in there, Battanian Fiend champs. We have this 7th division as well, and it's gonna take me just a minute to sort of configure how I want to use these guys and then come up with a battle strategy. Of course, we'll be doing some kiting. Anytime I have archers, you're going to see me do a bit of kiting. We'll be trying a kill box, although just a glance at it, it looked like this Aserai force has a huge amount of cavalry. That's usually a no-no for a kill box, but we can still kite, and I think we have a shot still winning this battle. So see what we got here. I am kind of coming up with the strategy on the fly. This is one of my favorite parts of Bannerlord, right? Is basically you're using your cerebral cortex, right? We're going to be using our brain here to try to come up with our best possible strategy given the task at hand, right? A huge force of Aserai, potentially lots of Jav-Cav in their army as well. So in some ways, this is going to be a Javelin versus Archer battle. And then the second battle is going to be like a Javelin versus Javelin army. And I think kiting makes the most sense, right? We will kite with these 3 divisions. I've got a division or 2 we can use in squares. I've got a cav line here. It's kind of a pitiful cav line, but we can use them somewhat defensively as a screen. Try to flank the enemy with some archers here, and generally raise hell, right? We're going to be fighting at range until guys are low on ammo. See, that's like almost entirely a crossbow division. Yeah, these guys have bad line of sight, so I'm just going to... Let's get the 4th moved over there. 116 cavalry just on this side. Wow. That's not great. And they have a fuckload of horse archers as well. So this army we're facing really has no weakness. 116, yeah, so that they have is a mass amount of cavalry. Don't try this at home. This is going to be very difficult. Trying to kite effectively against a huge amount of ranged cavalry. In some ways... I already regret this decision, but we're here for a challenge. We're going to run through this. We're going to do our very best here as we already absorbing fucking javelins by the thousands. But in we go here, right? Of course, I'll be fighting the whole series. Now, I am going to grab javelins for the javelin series, right? We're role-playing with our men. I hear their fucking javelins hitting our guys. Of course, we're shooting them too, right? So it's an exchange. And their infantry is just pouring in on us, right? Because we don't really have much infantry. So we're doing some kiting, classic crane formation, pincher movement, Hannibal at Kenai. This is all classic stuff that we've highlighted on the channel. They're really boring in on the crossbow division. One of these divisions is going to get devoured. That's just all there is to it. I mean, this is not going to be a clean battle. I got enemy lords in here trying to stab me and shit. Let's square that division. Let's get the 5th and 6th pulled back. I got Cav chasing me all over the map. Fuck you guys. Let's pull this Cav back out of archer range here and start working on this infantry. They are really coming in hard on our 5th division. Alright, on the far side, it's probably hard to see. I know this is not the most tactically easy to see battle. In fact, right now it's rather chaos. I have the 1st and 4th divisions way over on the other side here. Actually, that's the 5th division, sorry. And, you know, it's essentially like there's a bifurcated battle here, right? The main force of infantry is boring in on us here. but some of their units headed over towards our other divisions. This is very unusual AI behavior, and I'm just trying to cope. 199 guys in their main infantry vanguard. So we're going to continue to kite here. The Cav division is already decimated. I expected that, right, against 200 and something cavalry. The archers here are peeling back, though, but I see a good amount of death spam, right? We're seeing some red. Obviously, the enemy's inflicting some damage on us, but the more we kite, the more we sort of suck them in here. I expect that death to sort of change in our favor here. Right now, I have archers setting up. That third division's gone already, of course. Let's keep pulling back here. The infantry really has one of two choices, right? To attack our 5th or attack our guys here in the 6th. A few of their guys are kind of skirmishing here, but it's starting to look good for us here. I'm gonna push the 5th like off the map because they're clearly coming for us here. We're still getting stabbed by cavalry. I don't have a counter to that. I got a fucking javelin right in the shoulder blade. Fucking kind of stings a little bit with my elite armor. Oh shit, the 5th is pressed up against the edge of the map, so we'll push them far away from us. At least we'll be able to shoot the enemy from behind. Of course, this enemy infantry now, even though it's a huge block, is completely devoid of support. They don't have any archers nearby, and we're going to be able to close in on it. And catch one underneath your ribs there, dude. They're chasing after our 5th Corps, and while they do that, of course, they're highly exposed to our 6th over here. Now, on the far side of the battlefield, things actually look better than I expected. We're spreading those divisions out, and we're going to be able to use them also to clamp down on this infantry division. I know it looks ugly right now, but I still think we can win this battle. I'm just kiting to the moon with the 5th Corps here. Those that have seen the ranged kill box, of course, know that early on there can be some death. It can be kind of messy, and then eventually things, once you get your distancing down, right, and all these archers start shooting and the enemy can't reach them, it starts to change, right? The enemy infantry is now completely cut off. That might be reinforcements. I can't tell. Right in the fucking face there, dude. The enemy infantry is kind of in between our archer divisions here. For those that are watching, like saying, well, I can't tell what the fuck's going on, hold that thought. Reinforcements just came in. I got an infantry wave. Let's pull them towards us here. Archer reinforcements are heading our way, so this infantry of theirs is fucked. This is one of the benefits of kiting. The enemy has basically managed to trap themselves between my reinforcements and my active fighters. So let's join these bitches on the ground here. I've got cavalry charging the enemy infantry now. Javelins are flying everywhere, and we're going to pound in here, right? Time to truck some of these motherfuckers here. I was going to say, those that are watching this saying, I can't fucking tell what's going on, this kill box is way too complicated. We have RTS versions of this, and if you want to pull off this tactic, this deadly tactic, but you can't tell what the fuck's going on here, I get it. Like, this is, in my own brain, everything is clear. But for you, it's probably complicated as fuck. We have RTS mods where you can watch the whole thing from overhead, and it'll be a lot easier for you to see what the fuck is going on here. Right? You will be able to emulate and copy this tactic on your own. All right, now the enemy archers, right? So we have more archers than the enemy, so we welcome an archery battle. Now they have another wave of cavalry, right? So we're really stretched thin on the cavalry side of thing. We're going to use that cav line to slow them down. I do have an infantry line here that's going to help, the 3rd Division. And I've got basically like 4 or 5 sort of mishmash archer divisions that I'm sort of moving off to the flank here because we don't want all our guys facing the shield walls coming at us. Now, shoot my own guys as usual. The enemy's got random horse archers and shit running through here. It's a very messy battle at this stage, but I still feel pretty good about it. We've got flanking forces. They're boring in towards our infantry. We can square those boys. We can start pulling our troops now to the enemy's left here and really envelop them. So cavalry gets moved to the side. 6th Corps gets moved over there. 7th Corps. Cav right in front of the archers. Shit, I was shooting at my own guys. I do recognize that the Aserai and my shields are very similar. I apologize for that. And what I can tell you is in future episodes, of course, we'll fight Sturgia. We will fight armies where it makes sense, where you can actually fucking tell who the enemy is, who the ally is. I recognize this is not the cleanest way for the intro on this. Hopefully you guys can forgive me and check out another one of these battles. In we go here. It's time to start shooting. The 6th Corps is over there. The Cav is basically providing a shield wall block. I love it when horses get shot out from riders. I'm going to start pushing in a few infantry divisions here because these guys are low on ammo and I don't want their archers shooting at us. So we're going to wade in. This is going to be a lot of casualties, but it's going to stop most of these archers from shooting. You see him all of a sudden Zerg the Britannian Fiend Champ. That's better than 6 guys, master archers and shit shooting you. I know that seems suicidal, and we're taking losses, but I think the net effect is positive for us. Of course, I'm trucking guys with my hammer here. A lot of their infantry went for our infantry square. I can't even pay that attention right now. I've got to deal with all these archers. Suddenly, there's a huge wave of green death spam, and very quickly, this battle starts to look in our favor. I'm a spear brace away from a dirt nap. But the archers are now trying to reform. We're shooting them in the back as they're reforming. This is definitely advantage us. Right in the spine. This guy takes 106 and keeps going. Right in the spine. You gotta love the animation for it when they get hit right in the spine. Now they got pitiful horse archers coming up. Of course, these are lower level horse archers. These guys are fodder. These guys are like that token white guy that always got dunked on by Michael Jordan in the poster, right? I got another reinforcement line that's coming up here. Oh, actually, never mind. That's the square. Wow, I pushed those guys further back than I thought. You know what? The enemy's number on the bottom there is getting smaller, or bigger on the bottom. That means they're running. They've had enough. This episode, this battle is over. We can go cut a few of these guys down here, but that was that, so to speak. We'll move up units here in case they turn and bring some archery up, but I don't think this is going to be... I think this battle is over. All right, so while we're cutting these guys down here on the way out, what I'm basically going to do is almost like a UFC fight. At the end of it, we will ding, 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 award a win either to the Javelin heavy army or to the Archer heavy army, right? We're going to fight this exact same force. I'm just going to reload the save game. Yeah, we're save scumming here, right? These are purely for demonstration purposes. I'm curious. Aren't you curious which army is going to be better? An army that's much heavier in archery or an army that's much heavier in javelins? Now, of course, it's definitely going to depend on the situation. It depends on your tactics. It depends on your comfort level. I'm fairly comfortable with javelins, and I'm very comfortable with archery. So the first battle, 325 total losses, and that'll be sort of our benchmark for this second battle. So a little quick editing, and we'll be right back. All right, I told you we'd be right back very quickly with this second battle. I've reloaded this. We've got the same 686 troops. I'm not like pulling the wool over your eyes or anything like that. Now, what we're going to do here, of course, and I've already done some of it, is we're going to change to a Javelin army, right? We switched here. I have Jarids again. I have my 3 bags of Javelins, and even our weak characters like Yelen, she now has Javelins. Now, look at her throwing skill, right? 141. She's a Javelin amateur. Her bow skill, obviously, she was a benefit in the bow series, not so much as a thrower. This guy, however, is better at throwing than shooting, right? And I've done that so that these series aren't lopsided in one direction or the other. On balance, I think we have slightly better archers than javelin throwers, but that savage perk of the javelins at 250 skill, and I might as well call this other army the Wildling army, I think that perk is definitely going to help us here against a ton of Aserai infantry and a lot of heavy cav, right? The Jav cav, we're going to be throwing javelins hopefully right through their shield. So just like the first battle, only the opposite, we will leave our archers and say, we don't need you. We're going in here with melee. We're going to do this with infantry. We have like 400, maybe 380 to 400 infantry. Now, not infantry, javelins. I'm including the cavalry. And we maybe have 30 to 50 archers. Now take a look at these divisions here. Again, this is just going to be a necessary thing, probably 30 seconds at the beginning of each of the battles. Now, you should be doing this as a battle commander to make sure your units are correct anyways, but I'm going to try to speed these along for the purpose of brevity. So 2 cav corps. We've got more cavalry already because, of course, they're Jav cav, right? I'm including them as some of the javelin units. The Zuvan, let's see, he'll just be in charge of infantry. I just want him in charge of skirmishers. I want these guys to be able to charge if need be, and now we have that set up right. The other infantry division, the primary infantry division, will be the first. That way I can square those guys, draw a lot of attraction, draw a lot of attention, but they can also still throw javelins. Yeah, I got a huge mix of units here, so I'm just going to reset a few of these divisions. If your units ever get confused, like it looks like there's way too many infantry or something, or you have infantry in your archers, just reset the division. Hit that little negative sign, remove the division, and recreate it. Once you do this 2 or 3 times, this will get more comfortable for you. I reassign my captains here, and in 10 seconds, now it's archers, right? That's what I want. Now that's a crossbow division. The archery division, again, it does look like there's one of these other divisions that's confused. It was the 1st infantry. There was archers mixed into the 1st infantry. All right, so the 1st infantry now is set. I don't know if we need quite that many guys. It could be like 50. You know, when you're forming your squares, you really don't want to have a huge square because you're removing a lot of firepower, right? The purpose of a square is to attract attention, to play defense while the rest of your units attack. Well, if you got a square that's a third of the size of your army, that's an awful lot of defense, right? You don't want to have 8 or 9 guys playing back in a football match and only 3 forwards, right? Or 2 forwards. You're probably not going to do well. The 7th is a bit of an amalgamation, but I think I'm going to roll with this. It's already been about a minute and a half configuring this shit. Maybe we'll do some fancy editing in some of these episodes. If it really bothers you, let me know in the feedback. I know there's a lot of TLDR these days. If you've never heard of that, too long, didn't read, with phones and whatnot, our fucking attention span is cratering here. Maybe my channel will help the other way around. Maybe it'll help you build your attention span back up. It's not a good thing that humankind is losing its attention span. All right, so 4th, 5th, and 7th are archery divisions. 6th is a skirmisher / infantry division. The 8th is horse archers. The 2nd and 3rd are my cav wings here. It feels better in a fight against a lot of cavalry to have a bunch of heavy horse in walls, but we don't have much archery support here, right? So we're going to have to methodically destroy this enemy. It's very different than an archery battle, right? I can't just sit back and let our guys pound them at range. We're going to have to get tricky. We're going to have to move some units around. We're going to have to do it slowly, right? Because infantry don't move quickly. Like, let me sit up in my chair here. It's been a little while since I've thrown javelins, and of course I just fucked around with archery, so it's probably going to take me a little bit. This is probably bad for my skill level, to go from one and then the other. I can't throw a javelin now to save my life. You know, you get sort of a feel for one or the other, and when you switch, it's difficult to go back. We're going to do the best we can here, though. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. So the 1st I will square, but I'm also putting in a shield wall for now just to face this onslaught of javelins. The enemy's throwing thousands of javelins from their jav cav. Here come this side. Nobles pouring in. We can unseat some of these fucks here. Catch a javelin. These guys, of course, our guys are throwing javelins back. Now, I forgot to mention that the 1st and 6th were on hold fire. Look at how many javelins are being thrown at us. Fuck you guys. I gotta be careful not to take one in the face. You could lose like half your health from a javelin in the face. You can only imagine in real life. It would not be half your health. You would just be dead. I guess if you had a strong helm on. Anyways, I digress. All right, so the 1st is in a square here, and they're, of course, attracting a massive amount of tension. The enemy cav is pressed all around them. When they get close, I'm going to break them out into a shield wall and charge. Javelins are starting to fly. The enemy horses are all piled up here. I can't reach very much. This gal's going to block every fucking shot. Get the fuck out of here. On your bike. I'm very close to taking a javelin in the face here, but our division is now attacking all these penned up horsemen, and of course they're being pounded by javelins and my hammer, right? I'm unseating every 3rd rider. They're eating shit. It's a maelstrom, and I forgot to mention it, but we're over this ridge, right? The positioning of our units here allows us to annihilate their jav cav and horse archers without really their archers being able to see us, right? So they're not really hitting us with their archers, and that's going to give us a shot here to rack up some kills. In fact, it's quite green so far in this battle. Okay, so their infantry's boring in quickly, right? They probably said, fuck, we can't get line of sight. Let's move up quickly. So we're still going to kite. The 4th and 5th, let's get these guys back. The 7th, in fact, we want to move them back as well. And it's time to start flanking them, right? I have 2 different javelin divisions. We're going to flank the fuck out of their infantry division. The third cav is already beat to shit. That's normal, right? They got pounded with javelins. Look at how vulnerable this enemy is. They're downhill and they're static, right? Enemies that are static, you guys know the saying. You guys should be able to kill them. So we're going to lead with cavalry. We're going to be using that cavalry to push a hole so that our archers, so that their archers freak out and spin around and all kinds of shit trying to avoid a heavy cav charge. And then we're going to throw dozens of javelins into the sides of this enemy. 7th Corps behind us. It's kind of a cross of javelin throwers and archers. Oh shit, whoops, I accidentally hit the speed up button. That's an RTS mode button. That's not like a cheat code. Please don't join the handful of trolls out there that are like, this guy, look how fast he's moving, he's cheating. It's just the RTS mode. It's not real comfortable mid-battle, but I want a button, that I can hit pretty easily in the middle of a battle to speed things up, right, when there's a dull moment. All right, so that methodical stuff I was talking about earlier, we're starting to do that now, right? I have the 6th Division, which is like 60 javelin throwers. The Cav Division is right in front of it to absorb a lot of these arrows and javelins. The 7th Corps is behind it here. The enemy is still sort of vectoring kind of towards the center of our formations. We can send these horse archers in, engage. Look at how vulnerable they are now, right? They're facing our main infantry division there. These guys are going to be, including our companions. I don't know what she was doing there, Tessa. She was charging into battle like a dumb bitch. We're going to bring this javelin unit right up on the side of the enemy, and what we're basically going to do is swivel it. I'm going to move the cavalry into their masses. I basically want to scramble their archers, but I also want to give us a little line of lead as we lead our troops in here. See what I'm doing now? I'm actually facing our Jav Cav towards the back of the enemy, right? The enemy is now surrounded. Now the javelins start to fly, right? The 6th Corps can be told, let it fly. Oh, shit, I got more dipshits on horses getting in my way. Watch this 6th Corps unload here, right? All these javelin guys, dozens of javelins go on. The death spam is enormous. Their archers are freaked out. Now, it's still a huge amount of troops, right? This is not like they're all dead, but we are pounding them right now, right? This is where we earn our hay. Earn our bread, I guess. I mix my metaphors. Now, these archers are coming towards us. Charge these bitches. They're trying to reform right into the teeth of our javelin. Look at all the javelins just cutting through here. Now, their vanguard's a problem, right? That's like almost 200 guys still. The archers are still here for support. It's going to get messy now, but that was a huge tactical advantage for us opening up there. And we still have the enemy surrounded here, right? They're being pounded by archers on the other side. I'm smashing guys with my hammer. Fortunately, our health is in pretty good shape here because it's about to get messy. I got to get that 7th Corps over here. I forgot to charge them. Sometimes you just forget a unit, right? This is part of the span of control. I've talked about this a lot. God, their infantry division did major damage. We just don't have enough total units in here to take on 200 and something infantry and 200 archers. And these are good-looking archers, right? These are not weak archers. There's Sword Sisters and Sergeant Crossbow and shit in here. I think we just got reinforcements. I got a fucking posse chasing after me. Fuck you. Very messy, but I think we came out of that all right. Their archers here are still highly vulnerable. Our troops are boring in on them. I got this stupid fuck chasing me. We've got another line of archers here. Oh, shit. Those are ours. I just killed another one of our guys. Well, I mentioned that in the first battle. I apologize for starting this series with an Aserai versus Aserai, especially javelins versus javelins. It's probably very difficult for you to tell what the fuck is going on. I already make a ton of movement, and I talk fast here in battles. You can't even understand what I'm doing. Right? I'm not doing you guys a lot of favors in this episode. I apologize. Hopefully, the next episode I can find a nice blue sturgeon force for us to attack. But hopefully you've gotten enough out of this at this stage. Now, I'm just reforming the lines here. I've got 2 lines of cav walls, basically preventing us from being shot to death by all their archers. These big, long lines of cavalry here. And now we're going to start boring into the enemy, right? What do we have in our army? We have lots of infantry. We don't have a lot of archers. Ordinarily, I just sit back and pound the enemy at range. I do have some archers here, but we're going to have to get aggressive here. I'm almost down. And that's the thing, right? With the Javelin series, you're much more vulnerable. Every fucking horse is knocking me around. But anything that comes up to that horse line is getting obliterated, right? Oh shit, here's their infantry coming through. All right, let's charge at this fucking 4th and 5th. These guys are lower level infantry. We can bore in on these guys here. They're running in really far too. It's odd. They're like trying to get to our archers, I think. Ain't gonna work. Okay, their archers are still cut off, or they're reforming, or they're all destroyed. We destroyed a lot of archers there. And this has been a massacre. This second batch of infantry, they ran into our lines. They got through our heavy cav lines, and they just discovered, oh shit, they don't have many soft troops here. It's mostly infantry, and these guys got cut to ribbons. I mean, this was a brutal fucking beatdown right here. And that's one of the nice things about a Javelin army, right? You don't have a lot of soft units in your army. We might have had 40 archers in this whole battle. Maybe 50 archers in the whole battle. I see the 5th Division right now has 53. So maybe we had 60 or 70, but we had mostly infantry. And obviously that's a very different battle than it is when you have a lot of soft archers with no shields. Almost all of our troops here have shields. I've got a nice little unit here. I'm just basically holding a line. But you know what? I think just like the first battle, the behavior is similar. I think the enemy's had enough. I think they're heading for the exits. In fact, they're heading for like the same area. And this battle's over. I'm going to chase some of them down here just to sort of kick in their retreating code here. Finish off this battle here. But never mind. The enemy is fleeing. You have won the battle. All these mediocre and peasant troops are heading out of here. Of course, they don't want anything of that, right? They know they're going to get a javelin in the face. And 200 that's better. Look at that guy. He's got like 5 javelins in him. That's a better result than the first battle. If I remember right, it was 325-ish casualties in the all-archer army. And this sturdier force here with more infantry, more shields, more javelins. These guys are still throwing javelins for some reason. Look at this guy. He's being escorted right to me. They're like, we brought him to you, boss. Kill him. Well, I will comply. How funny. It's like they escorted a prisoner for the fucking Jarl to kill. There's one guy here fucking heading over the hills. I'll take care of him, boys. You guys just stand still. We'll just spend this 30 seconds chasing this guy down here. There he is. While I talk about that. So that's interesting. We're going to do different scenarios in this series with this Javelin army. It's obviously not 100%, and I would never recommend 100% archers or 100% Javelin. This fucking coward just runs off. But I do recommend having a specialty to your army, and more importantly, having a style, right? If you have a style that you get good at, you will start to dominate with that style. The only style I don't recommend is all heavy horse. It just doesn't work very well. Maybe if you dismount some of the riders, it won't be too bad. But an all cavalry army especially is going to get mauled. I guess if you have lots of horse archers, just maybe it'll work. But 50% archers or 50% javelin throwers, absolutely. I think it can be very effective. Kill this fucking guy's horse. We wrap this episode up. And so the first win here, right, 240 casualties, it clearly goes to the Javelin army in this open field battle. That kind of surprises me, especially since this is not a kind of battle that I've gotten very fluent at. I'm definitely a lot more fluent at archery battles. We still put a whip in here on this large Aserai force. So we'll take a few prisoners here. Again, I know you guys are like, another side series, motherfucker? I know, it's another side series here we're exploring. This is a little bit of a scientific experiment. Massive amounts of upgrades from this battle. We'll take these. Which do you guys think is going to be best, right? Put in the comments what you guys think. Is an army that has 60% archers or an army that has 60% skirmishers going to do better over the course of several different battles? That's going to be very interesting to see. I'm not going to prognosticate. It's just one battle, but the first battle goes to our skirmisher army. All right, well, Calradia better be shaking in their boots because there's either going to be lots of arrows and bolts heading at their neck, or even worse, big giant sticks with the point on them in the very near future. Of course, you want to subscribe if you want to see more from this, friends. If you like all the profanity, let me know. Of course, please leave comments, all that good stuff. Let me know which one you think is going to win, and I will see you guys next time.